Hey everybody, Kathy at Northstar Prepsteader. So I'm just going to wait a little bit for some people to come on and we'll begin our chat. It's a beautiful, beautiful summer day in Minnesota. I know I didn't get a notice out. I just got home and I'm just trying to get some things going here. So, oh, there's somebody on, a couple people. Hey, Thrifty VG, you're the first one on there. How are you doing? And how is Rhode Island today? So thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. Scott, you tried, but hey, you're right in here. I appreciate that so much. Heat wave over in the 80s. Oh, the heat wave's over. Now you're in the 80s. Oh, that's good. That's good. Hey, Grammy Karen. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad you liked my music video. That was great. That was great. Scott, are you up in the crane right now? I know you've been putting in some long, long days. Just can't even imagine 70 or 80-hour weeks. That's insane. So Thrifty VG, I'm so glad that your heat wave is over. Ours seems to be over too. I just got back this afternoon from being gone for a week in New Orleans. And when I left here in Minnesota, it was in the hundreds. Oh, that's good, Scott. Thanks. That was great. Hey, Robin. Hi, how are you doing? Um, so, yeah, like I said, I just got home this afternoon from traveling for a week in New Orleans. When I left Minnesota, it was like in the 90s to 100 degrees, right in there. High heat index, and it was really hot and humid. It was actually the same in New Orleans as it was here. So you're welcome, Scott. I wanted to just get a chance to say hi. I missed all of you guys so much when I was at the conference. So I mean, I had tons of friends there that I could meet and spend time with, but I missed all of you too, being online. So this has been really fun. So yeah, so then the heat broke actually in New Orleans. It wasn't too bad. By the time I left, it was like in the low to mid 80s with about the same amount of humidity. So, which for July in New Orleans is really decent. So it wasn't like you walk outside and you were dripping wet already. So it was pretty decent. It was pretty nice. And now today in Minnesota, oh my goodness, our high was like 73 Fahrenheit and sunny, dry. It was just amazing to come home to. Almost chilly. So anyway, we're gonna warm back up a little bit into the mid 80s, but we're not going to be. I think our intense heat wave that we had before is kind of done. So anyway, it's great. And so, like I said, Thrifty VG, I hope your heat wave is done too for this summer. It gets pretty intense when it's that hot and humid. Hard to get anything done, and the ACs are running around the clock. So, Robin, where are you from? So, and Scott, I didn't get a chance to catch up much on all that's going on in your life, but from what it sounds like, you guys are really, just really intensely making plans to try to move, and that's awesome. It's a huge undertaking for the two of you, and so I've got to hand it to you. That's a great thing. You're in the desert Southwest. Oh yeah. Your heat's going to last for a couple more months at least. I totally get you. So desert Southwest. Is it Arizona, California? What area is that? Or Nevada? Yeah, Arizona. Okay. Yeah, so you'll be hot through probably at least November, I think, is what it is. So I don't envy you. I'm sorry. uh, but I know that in the middle of our winters, everybody's like, oh, go to Arizona. It's nice. And granted, it is then. But anyway, um, so the I flew Southwest. It was the very first time I've flown Southwest. I've usually gone Delta, Northwest, of course, when it was in business. I've done American, United, some of the others, but this was the first time I flew Southwest, and I was not used to the a little more casual, relaxed format, I guess you could say, that they have with the, the flight attendants are wonderful. They're just like wearing shorts and a little more casual, and it's open seating, which I wasn't accustomed to either. I'm always used to having, booking and get my seat, and it's like, nope, you get on and just sit wherever you want, and it's kind of crazy. But in one way, it's really nice because it's like, if you're with somebody, it's like, oh, let's find a seat together, and you can be there. Or if you don't want to get stuck between, two sumo wrestlers or something, that you don't have to, you can pick a different seat that you want. And so in that way, it's kind of nice. If you want to be in the front or the back, whatever's open. So that was really different. So I don't know, has anybody here flown Southwest, and what do you think of it? So, hey, Off Kilter Homestead, how are you doing? Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate that. So, where are you from? I'm here in Minnesota. So, if you haven't gotten used to it, so Scott, did you get to see my music video at all? Just wondering, because I know I mentioned it last night, but Central Florida. Okay, well, it's still plenty warm and humid down there, so I hope and pray that you do not get any hurricanes, or if they are, they're just really minimal. It's going to be cranking up pretty soon for that. It was one of the things I want to talk about tonight is Hurricane Barry. Now I know a number of people, and I didn't get a chance to get a notice out, so I don't know if we're going to get as many people, especially from Louisiana. But all the locals that I talked to this last week, okay, Off Kilter, you say you don't mind the rain, but the aftermath, yeah. So, Thrifty VG, thank you so much. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, all the locals that I was talking to about Hurricane Barry, they're like, it was just rain, just a rainstorm. And they said that the thunderstorm that came after the hurricane was done actually dumped more water than the hurricane did. They were like, the hurricane was just like, it was nothing. So all my family up here, when I got back, they were like, so how was New Orleans? Was, things just flooded all over the place? Was it, was it really bad with the hurricane and everything? It's like, there was nothing. And they were like, well, we saw videos all over the place of people walking through waist-high water, and all this stuff was flooded everywhere. And I said, well, maybe down in like the Ninth Ward where it's really low, or in Plaquemine Parish, maybe things were more flooded then. But in New Orleans itself, there were some puddles left, and that was it. And I went down St. Charles Avenue, which is the Garden District, and hey, Dave, how are you doing? Thank you. Yeah, the Garden District. We took buses through Old Town, close to the French Quarter and everything. So, hey, Searching Sabrina, how are you doing? Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate you jumping in anyway. So you just take care, and thank you for saying hi. So yeah, Robin, I lived in Louisiana for about 13 years, and so I did go through a couple of hurricanes, but um, you got a lot of time to plan for it and a lot of time to make decisions. But anyway, so we were taking buses through the old city and everything, and there wasn't any water that was left standing. Nobody said anything about there being any flooding at all in there. So I was talking with my sister this morning about it, and it's like, the media was portraying it up here as this horrible flooding, almost like a Katrina type of thing, and that never happened. So I'd like to get you guys' take on that. I'm just wondering if they pulled old footage of other flooding and other hurricanes and put it in there to try to create this fear, this panic for things, and trying to maybe make the government look bad again and make everything, I don't know. It's just it just seemed to be a lot of false media, at least in this end of things, around the country, that it just wasn't there. And so I'm just wondering, do you guys have any comments about that, or any opinions? It'd be kind of interesting to find out, because it wasn't there. And I've talked to people from Lake Charles through over to that it's about viewers. So Dave said it's about viewers. Can you expand on that, Dave? So, more viewers, more money. So yeah. They're trying to create the drama. Yep. That's what I kind of felt like. And my sister agreed on that. So, I just, because it was, what would be their purpose for that kind of hype? And what would be their purpose for that kind of drama? Are they trying to, like you said, get ratings? Are they trying to just get more money from the government? I don't know. It's so Dave says, find the worst neighborhood and make it sound citywide. Yeah, but even the worst neighborhood, it didn't seem to have any really at all. So Off Kilter says, yeah, for the storm before Irma, we had FEMA official going off in TSC because we didn't have the amount of chainsaws he wanted, because this would be a storm of the century. We got 2 inches of rain. Yeah. So I think there is definitely a money thing behind it. Oh, Grammy Karen says ratings. Yeah, ratings and money. So, hey, Overlook Valley Homestead. Hello. How are you doing? Greetings to you. So, so anyway, the flights yesterday were just like canceling all over the place. There's actually more bad weather around Atlanta, because that airport has shut down for a while, and so it affected flights going into like Orlando. So people going to New York from New Orleans, where they would be routing through Orlando, they actually had to reroute through Chicago and then over. I mean, it was a mess, and a lot of people being delayed, and so I got home, or I got back to where I was staying at about 2 o'clock this morning, and then got home this afternoon. So it's a bit of a traveling journey, but it's all good. It's all good. I had a good week, a really good week. So it was a conference that I was at, and so Thrifty VG says, because a storm can go multiple directions, a tropical storm is not as severe as a hurricane, but yeah, it does cause problems. So yeah, and I know Barry was just kind of sitting there and kind of going one way and then the other, east west, and they weren't really sure. But there again, I think the drama and the ratings, because it really wasn't doing anything, and the news had hyped up this hurricane. It's like they can't just like let it go and just like fizzle it out and everything else. So, Robin, I agree. She says, I think misinformation by news outlets is worse than no information at all. It is that that false information that's out there. Absolutely, because it's not only lying to the public and everything, but it's creating all kinds of panic and different things like that. So, Thrifty VG says, when my children were in elementary school, a simple thunderstorm hit the grid somewhere and we were without electricity for 2 weeks. So even a simple storm can cause a problem. Exactly. So whether it's, like you said, a storm, a blizzard, whatever, all it takes is lightning hitting a transformer and, it causes issues. So, Grammy Karen, I know things are building up for you and Zach and Jen and all the planning and everything that's going on. So one of the things I missed the most this week was not being able to watch you guys on your videos and keep up with your lives and the things that are going on. So I'm having to kind of do a triage. I think I had 143 videos stacked up from this last week, and it's like, okay, there's no way I can watch them all. But anyway, so anyway, I have got a little bit of show and tell here. Now, Scott, I know you can't see it, but yeah, that is a lot. Here is some of my beans that I picked this afternoon. So when I got home, I had to go in my garden, of course, and this is the first picking of my beans. Hey, Katie, how are you? So I've got these 2 big bowls and one more. I don't know if I can get it without dropping. So another bowl of beans here. So I weighed them. I've never weighed my produce before, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to find out how much I get out of a space in the way that I plant. Thank you, guys. Yeah, these beans are just like, they're really, really good size beans. So I got just shy of 10 pounds of beans for one picking. And it was the first picking. And typically the second to third picking is the biggest. So anyway. Hey, is it Zach or Jen? Hi, hello, how are you doing? Yeah, because if you guys have seen my bean videos at all on planting them, I do broadcast planting. So I still plant 6 inches apart, but all within the bed. So within a 4 by 6 bed, I get, this is 10 pounds. So I will get at least 30 to 40 pounds of beans from that small bed. So Dave, no, I'm going to can them all. I don't like frozen beans because when they come out, they're kind of rubbery and stuff and just lose their flavor. So I will be canning them all. So starting probably tonight, starting to cut them up. I don't can them whole. I've done that before, but these are really, I do by pints. For me, I don't do by quarts. So anyway, I will cut these in 1-inch sections and can them, pressure can. So anyway, hey Vonnie, yes, my trip went very well. It really did. So okay, Dave, yours will be ready in a day or two. I know they were starting to be about 2 to 3 inches long when I left, and I'm like, oh, and it was so hot, so it's like they're gonna grow like crazy and be huge before I even get back. But then the weather slowed down a little bit, but still, this is like my first picking, so it's crazy. So I'm gonna have, yes, a lot of work to do, but you guys know very well that when you see all those jars on the shelves, You have it all through the winter. It's great. So green bean people, as Sarah says. Yep. So thanks, Katie. Appreciate that. It's Jen. Oh, hello, 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 hello. Um, Grammy Karen, that's so cute. Is that what you call her? Jen Jen? So that's fun. What do we have? Robin says pint size is good. Yes. Um, you know, one pint actually can do 2 meals for me. So there's no way I want to do a quart and just having it sit in the refrigerator and all that kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, I want to do the pints. Now this one picking, I might get 15 pints possibly. So I'm hopefully have a really good harvest going on here. So hey Bev, how are you doing? Thank you, thank you. You canned 92 pints last year. Oh my goodness, yeah. There are sometimes if I have a really good year, really prolific year, and I get enough that will last me 2 years. I I am totally good with that, and I won't grow beans next year, so I'll be able to use that space in the garden for something else. So um, I eat maybe a few of them fresh. Now these are bigger than what I like to eat fresh, because they just get a little too thick in that way. If I'm eating it fresh, I like the little smaller beans because they're more tender and I think they're a little more flavorful. If I'm just taking those and just maybe sauteing them or something like that. So thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. I'm glad you like the song. That's good. So, Grammy Karen, you said you just watched it. So, and I know Grandma's so happy, so watched my song too. So I appreciate that. So, yes, Katie loves pints. Um, oh, Katie, what happened to your beans? Did they not get enough water? Did they get attacked by something, or what happened? Yep, Dave, 2 years harvest is great. And sometimes I do that with tomatoes too. If I've been able to get enough and I have enough tomato sauce that's going to last me a long time, I will. I like doing that. I like growing a bunch that's going to be able to keep me for 2 years because I know the powers that be, the whatever they say that you should only keep uh, canned foods in jars like 12 months. Some of them can go 18 months, and then that's it. But you know what? I have eaten stuff after 3 and 4 years, and it's still good. Now you don't want to recommend that to somebody else, but it's got to be your own personal decision where you think they're still good or not. But if you can them well, if they're sealed really well, if they're everything looks good, the color's good, the aroma is good, and the flavor and everything, then I'm going to use it. And I've been doing that for 25 years, and I've been fine. So if I have enough beans to last me 2, even 3 years, I'm good. I'm really good with that. So Bev, hello. Oh, thank you, Grammy. I really appreciate that. So where have we go? So Scott said Olivia just canned her very first jars of tomato sauce all by herself. Oh, that's so great. I have a lot of tomatoes on my plants right now, so nothing is turning yet, but that's okay. I like to time my garden so that, like right now, yeah, I got tons of beans to be canning. So I like to focus on that. And that's one of the reasons I grow bush beans because they get done within, 2 to 3 weeks. It's like, whoosh, they just all produce. And then I get the bulk of that done, and then the tomatoes start coming. So it's just a lot of work when they all come at the same time. So I like to have them kind of spaced out in that way. Um, so Dave said he had 2 years worth of blueberries last year. That's a lot of blueberries. That's great. So, yep, I do. I store my jars with no rings. Yep. Hey, Steph, how are you doing? No worries. It's probably a beautiful evening to go for a walk. So, Robin is doodling to create your own logo and name. Oh, very good. Very good. Yes, Katie, we're enjoying the coolness. It's about 72 or 73 degrees, I think, right now. Um, and it's just gorgeous. Something, yeah, 73 here. I don't know what it is where you are, but it's beautiful. Canning is hard work. The amount of beans I have here, I know it'll take me probably 3 or 4 hours to just cut them up. So sometimes I will do it in stages. It took me almost 2 hours to pick these, and just from a 4 foot by 6 foot bed. So that's how many I had. It'll take me probably close to 4 hours to cut them up, to clean them and cut them. And a lot of times then I'll just put them in the refrigerator, and then the next day I'll can them. So it just depends on how much time I have, how my energy is, all that kind of stuff. So Jen says our second round of bush beans is almost ready to produce. Oh, great. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Jen, don't be afraid to plant them closer together and just really have them in there. So that's they actually do. I find they do better if they're able to kind of create a canopy over that. Then it keeps not only the weeds down, but it keeps the soil moisture, and they do well with that. So, Vani, I'm glad that you love canning. That's great. Hey, Pine City Apiary, how are you doing? Thank you for coming. You ate a whole pizza for your birthday. Oh, well, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. So I think everybody should sing all at once for it. I mean, you probably only hear me, but if everybody sings, says, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Steph, happy birthday to you. Yay! You have to tell us how old you are now that you got it sung to you. Hey, JB, hello. How are you doing? Thank you so much for coming. We have Camp Patton Family Compound. Hi. Hello. So, Overlook Valley Homestead said that you canned some of your beans with potatoes in them. Ooh, that would be good. Can a mix that's already in there. So, you hate sticking your hand in to get the beans. You're always afraid you'll find something. Oh, I suppose in Kentucky that would be a little bit different. Yeah. So I can understand that. And maybe pole beans are better for you then at that point. So Dave has been to Apple Valley. Yeah, I think you told me that once before, but oh, thanks, Graham Karen. So Pine City Apiary grew up in Burnsville. Yep. 34. Oh, that's great. Oh, you're 31. Oh, very good. Congratulations. My youngest daughter is 31, so that's great. Potato, green bean, and sausage soup. Ooh, off kilter. You're gonna have to either do a video on that or send us the recipe. I think that'd be so great. Okay, so Scott, so is Camp Patton Family Compound, is that Gil? because I don't know that you've come to my channel before on a live, so I really appreciate it very much. I don't remember your name anyway, so if you did, I'm sorry. Um, so anyway, yes, for those of you who missed it, this is my first bean picking of the year that I just did this afternoon, and I got almost 10 pounds. 10 pounds of beans, so 3 full containers here, so it's a lot. I'm just going to write you down. So Camp Patton, where are you from? If you know Scott, are you from Idaho then? And it's Gil. Okay. You don't have to be on the East Coast to have some sort of impact. That's very true. If the hurricanes come up, you can get a rainstorm all the way up through the midsection of the United States. So absolutely, you can do that. So before I left to go to New Orleans, so Idaho. Okay, well, welcome so much, Gil. I really appreciate you coming. So before I left for New Orleans last week, I had to pick all the rest of my strawberries and trim them up anyway. So, and I ended up having a lot of slugs in my strawberries, which I've never had before. And they have been eating some of the berries, and they're just like all sizes of the slugs in there. I'm going to need to get rid of them. So does anybody have any really good ideas or any good remedies for getting rid of slugs? I was looking online, and they were like, oh, there's really nothing you can do, or like surround your garden thing in broken glass or eggshells or something, or I don't know, all kinds of stuff. So always believe it. Well, wonderful. So fellow Idaho escaping California. Yeah, there's a number of people that are. So I was met a lot of other people from like New York and California and everything this last week, and they said New York is getting just as bad, if not worse, than California, and just the laws and everything that's going on. It's really tough. It's really, really tough. So DE works for slugs. Okay, and beer. Okay. So just pouring it over the ground, or do I need to put it in a container or something? That's great, Scott. I'm so glad that you got somebody in common there. That's super. Oh, that's very interesting, Gail. It says even on the West Coast, we get impacted by supply redistribution. Lumber price goes up every time there's a hurricane. Interesting. Okay. So I've heard that the DE, though, really affects your bees. And I've got some really good bees going on in my garden right now, which I really am happy about. So I'd hate to have it affect them. But so beer. So, okay, so Dave says, take the aluminum can, bury it 3/4 of the way, put 1 ounce of beer in the bottom. Okay. Does that mean you get to drink the rest of the 11 ounces then? So slugs love beer. And then they just can't get out of it, or do they drown in the beer? So that would be, so beer. Okay, go buy a case of beer. Is there any particular beer that they prefer over the other? I mean, like, is light beer not as effective or something? So, but yeah, then you get to drink the rest of it. So, and by that time, you forget where you've buried the beer cans, probably. So, oh, so what's okay? So Pine City Apiary, what would you say about diatomaceous earth then? Did I miss that too? Oh, those spelled wrong. Okay. Um, Grain Belt Premium. Okay. Uh, gi- give those slugs. Oh, okay. Give those slugs the best so they can die happy. Oh, okay. I have to check Mims out then. So thanks, Katie. Her Slugwiser idea. Okay. Slugwiser. I like that. After all, Budweiser. Isn't Budweiser Katie, a homegrown one here in Minnesota? They can't process the alcohol. Oh, okay. Okay. They drown and can't get out and they use cheap beer. Okay. That's good. Yeah, for Thrifty VG, I've heard about that. That's what I was reading about crushing up eggshells, putting it in around the plants. Snails are another, yeah, I know that snails are another problem. I have not seen any snails yet. Just the slugs that were on the leaves of my strawberries as well as on the berries themselves. And like the last couple pickings, they had eaten up like half of my strawberries, which I'm not happy about because I love strawberries. If I use salt, it will affect my plants. Okay. Yeah, because I was wondering too about Epsom salts too. Now, Epsom salts would be good for my plants, but I don't know if that would affect the slugs or not. So, hey, Jan, or I'm sorry, Julie, Heaven's Essentials. Thank you so much for coming. That's fine. No worries about being late. So, oh, Bud is St. Louis, Missouri. Which one is from Minnesota? Not Budweiser. It's we talk about. I don't know. I just remember growing up in the ads were talk about the waters coming from northern Minnesota and everything. So we had. I think a bear was like their mascot or something like that. So yeah, Slugwiser, isn't that good? Yeah, Thrifty PG autocorrect is an issue there, isn't it? Greenbelt? Oh, Hams. Yes, Hams was the Minnesota ground one. So Greenbelt too. So Thrifty VG, I recommend everybody to get a book called Grandma's Critter Ritter. But yes, somebody's told me that before, and I haven't had a chance to get that yet, but definitely need to. Thank you, Pine City, from the land of sky blue waters. Yes, yes, yes. Remember that. PBR, PBR, PBR. Uh, is Milwaukee okay? So I'm not a beer drinker, so I don't remember that, but I do remember some of the ads and everything. They've been good. Oh, past Blue Ribbon. There you go. All right. So the salt kills both slugs and snails. Your mom used to put the jelly lids with salt in them out in the garden. Ah, okay. Okay. Um, well, maybe hit them from both things, salt and beer, and get all that out there. So, so far it doesn't look like they've gone to any of my other beds. They would have to cross over all my wood chips, which I know they don't like doing. They're one of the reasons you put eggshells out is because it's rough stuff, and because there is a smooth slug, they don't like crawling over that. So that's what I'm hoping, that with the wood chips, they don't want to crawl over that because it is rough out there. They would get slivers in their bellies. So, but there is something else eating like my borage, and Something's starting to attack my bean leaves too, so I'm hoping it is not cabbage moths. But anyway, we're getting a good harvest now, and I know that some things are moving and shaking out there, so it's good. So slugs won't know what happened to them between the beer and the salt. That is true. That's true. So I'm gonna like the slugweiser, beer and salt. Thank you for the ideas. I really appreciate that. So Thrifty VG says that German beer happens to be the best. Don't ask me why the bugs and critters love it. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Well, that would be really good. Throw some pretzels. That is true. Maybe you have to be careful who shows up, right? Oh, speaking of pretzels, it was, they serve those on the airplanes now, and so last night when the flight attendant was passing pretzels to the person, happened to be in the middle of a 3-seat one, but you're passing to the other person. She had a bag that actually had opened up. I think the glue or something had come out of it, and so anyway, as she's passing it over, it dumps all over me. So I'm getting pretzels and salt and pretzel dust, everything poured all over me. So I'm just glad it wasn't a drink, so I could at least dust that other stuff off. But I have not had that happen before, so it's kind of funny. Yeah, I'll be having a gardening party. Yep. I use Mountain Dew to bait yellow jackets too. Oh, okay. I know that there's in apple trees to keep the bees and stuff from eating into your apples. Um, that you can put like a milk jug in there, but pour beer and I think vinegar, apple cider vinegar in there or something. But beer in there too works really well. The bees get down in there, and I don't know if they drown or just get so drunk they can't find their way out or whatever it is. I don't know, but it keeps the bees from attacking your apples as they're growing. So okay, Katie. Well, don't weed too hard. Hey, how are your wrists doing? Are they getting better? Or at least your one wrist? So thanks for joining in. I really really appreciate you coming. So yes, well, I have at least Dave for a mod and Scott's a mod here too. So Katie, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. Anyway. Oh, that's great. That's really good. So what else has everybody else been up to? Oh, Vani, she's still using it a lot. When you're getting that, you just have to rest it. You can't keep using it. Oh, depending on the day. Okay. And are you right-handed, Katie? Because I know it's your right hand that's in it. So Julie's been up to gardening. All right. Yeah, I've been kind of out of it the last week, or not out of it, but away from what's been happening with everybody here, and I've kind of missed you guys. You bottled some honey. Oh, so cool. So you have bees, or did you have somebody else that you got some honey from? Oh, Steph, that'd be so great if you can get a home. That would be really, really nice. Mm. Yeah, Vonnie, I know the kids, they push it and do things that they think they can, but they don't know for sure. All right, so get some beer for the slugs. Have a party out there. So you keep bees. Oh, that's great. How many hives do you have then? So Steph said you found 2. You want one that is 5.5 acres. Yeah, okay. So you're really looking to have a homestead. Are you because of the military, is this a place that you're going to be able to have permanently then? Or is it going to be just another kind of a temporary situation for you? So that's great, Vonnie. I'm glad for you. So you have 6 ATM. I'm not sure what that stands for. So you can have 4 at your house. Okay. That would be um, the hives there. So I'm not sure what it. I don't keep these, so I'm not sure all the little technical jargon and everything. But oh, Steph, that would be so great. That'd be for your forever place. Oh, that's so perfect. We'll be praying for you. Okay, that you can be able to get everything that you want, and that will be a place that you can grow and have and be able to thrive there. That would be so excellent for you. That would really, really be good. So for those of you who came in later, we were talking about the hurricanes and everything down in the south, and um, kind of the false media that was going on there, the hype and the drama that they were creating. And because all the locals down there said that it was no big deal at all, that there was a thunderstorm that was worse than that, and there really wasn't any flooding that was going on. So Steph said that one is on a canal off Lake Erie. Ooh. The other one has its own pond. Well, it sounds like either one would probably be very good for you. So I'm hoping that that works out for you. Hope that works out. So I'm going to be canning all my beans, and this is just 1/3 of them from one picking. So how does everybody else fix their beans? I know some people said that they can them with potatoes, which would be really, really good. How many of you freeze them? Oh, speaking of freezing, it looks like these are already freezing. I had some in the fridge. Oh, look at that one. Looks like it's gotten frozen already. I have to be careful. I think I'm going to have to cut them up tonight. So it just started raining in Rhode Island. Well, that's a good idea, Dave. That's a good idea. Then I don't have to dump it down the sink or something. So that's a great idea. I do have some other cans and everything, so that would be really good. Hey, Mimsy, how are you doing? Hello, hello, hello. Oh, Dave, was that much needed rain that you're getting? So, Julie, where are you then? Where you're growing your beans? Thank you, Pine City Apiary. Thank you for coming and giving all of your ideas and your input. I really appreciate that. Oh, good thrifty VG. That's great. You must be getting somewhat the same weather that Oak Knob Farm is getting because you're up in that area of the country. So that would be great. Yes, Mimsy, we had a big long discussion about how to get rid of the slugs in my garden. And they were telling me that you are the official person to go to for a Slugwiser. Central California, okay. I can't keep them all straight, so I apologize, Julie. So Dave, you freeze them if it's small quantity. Okay. Yeah, my freezer is also full, so I don't really have much room for that at all. And canning, they stay for a lot longer too. I can keep them for a much longer time. Yeah, Slugwiser. Yep. Oh, yes, Julie, were you affected by the earthquake or earthquakes? Have there been more? Like I said, I've been out of it for the last week, so I hadn't heard anything. So, um, oh, you're below him, so you must have gotten it first. Okay. Yeah, that's a front coming from the north, so that'd be good. Well, Robin, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And thanks for all your help and your ideas for slugs and everything. I appreciate that. Take care. Oh, good, Julie. That's good. Hey, getting started on homesteading. Hi, how are you? Thanks for coming. I'm sure Grammy Karen and Jen are starting to get ready for their live in a few minutes, in less than 10 minutes. So that'll be really, really good. So I appreciate all of you who've watched my music video and left comments on it, and please share it around. I really, really would like that. It was, as you can see in the video, the state of the garden. It was one I filmed back in May, and just wasn't sure about how to edit it and get it going, and I was trying to go to places. I had a whole different vision in mind for all the background and everything, and every place I went to, I mean, I drove like 50 miles away and trying to get to these places, and every time I get there, because it was like the first time the weather was really nice in the spring, there were so many people around it. It's like, I don't want to be filming this and singing well with all the people around watching and everything. So I'm just kind of not an exhibitionist in that way. Well, not in any way at all. But it's, I just want to do it and then just like produce it and get it out. So who is Bub? Is that Gil? Gil, are you Bub? So Bonnie, you're doing that. So saying hi to everybody. So Julie says, yes, I do not like earthquakes. They get to the valley, but when they hit the hills, they're absorbed. Well, that's kind of neat. That's kind of good. Hey, Weedy Garden, thank you for coming. Hello, hello. I appreciate you getting on. I really, good to see everybody again. For those of you just kind of getting on, I was in New Orleans this last week at a conference. It was an international leadership conference, and it was a ministry that I'm part of, but they also are a client of mine. So I was presenting at workshops on the website that I built for them and different things like that. So it was kind of a work and refresher, and also catching up with some people from the area, New Orleans, because I lived down in that area for 13 years. So there's some people I got to connect with that I hadn't seen for 25 years. So that was like awesome. It was so great. It was really, really fun. So Dave says, have I ever air dried beans? Leather britches? No, I haven't. You soak or boil them. Use the seeds like little beans. Toss the shells after you boil out the flavor. No, I haven't done that. Interesting. I guess because I never have enough beans that I just don't really know what I want to do with them. Because I just want to get them all canned. So Vonnie, when you were a kid, the earthquakes, your mom's dishes in the cabinets would shake. And yeah, if you were outside, you didn't know anything. Yeah. So they taste meaty. Make a hearty broth. Well, that's kind of cool. Leather britches. And toss the shells after boil out the flavor. So obviously you would have to let the beans get bigger so that you've got some bigger seeds, I would imagine, right? And then be able to dry those. So Mary, I grew up in Minnesota, but in 1981 I moved down there. I was it was because of my husband's work and everything, and so we moved down there, and he had some family down there too, and lived there for 13 years, and then there was a lot of life that happened down there. Went through a divorce and a bunch of 4 years of criminal trials against him for abuse towards my children, and so it came back to be with family in 1994. So I've been back for 25 years, and so big, long, huge, and intense story with all that. So that was like the little brief thing. So thank you for asking. Appreciate it. So yeah, that brought me back to Minnesota, and I've been back here since. Hey, happy Colorado Homestead. Thank you for coming. I appreciate that. So Mims, Anna, I know that you are like the quintessential um, moderator. Did you want me to add you as a moderator? I wanted to find out. So I mean, I do have a number of them here, and Dave does an awesome job. Look at that, leather britches. Okay, Food Chef Bean. Thank you for the link. I appreciate that. Oh, Mary, thank you. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I have. Well, I've got my T-shirt on, my Northstar Prepsteader T-shirt. In my, as a lot of you know, my tagline is "Hope in the Darkness," and I've actually lived it. So it gives you a little bit of an idea of, didn't have any family and going through all that by myself down there, and through the Lord, you have hope. He's the only one that it. Without being able to walk that with him, I would not be here. I know it. I would not be here, and it was my hell that I went through, and but he gave me hope, and so now, yeah, I've got the joy and the hope. So anyway, that's kind of the story that I try to express without having to go into details. So. Bye, Steph. Thanks so much for coming. I really, really appreciate that. Hey, Grammy Karen, we will see you in a couple minutes. And um, thanks, Bonnie. Really appreciate that. So, yeah, Katie's weeding. So Gil says that you've been through 2 major earthquakes in 1971 in Southern California and San Francisco. Oof. You're waiting for Yellowstone to go. All those faults in there, it is amazing. I know, some of the major ones, but I don't know, all of I know that they're all over. And even there's one down through the Mississippi River Valley, or, right down the Mississippi River. So we've even had some shakes here before in Minnesota, which is really weird. It's like, what? Earthquake in Minnesota. But yeah, we've had that. So yes, Bonnie, you're absolutely right. So Anna, okay, thank you. I have them in blue and green and red too. So on my on my my channel, I've got the Teespring link there, so you can order the shirts and everything. So thank you, Mary. Thank you, Dave. That's just really, really interesting. I'll have to look that up and everything. Well, guys, it's 1 minute before the hour, and I know that there's a lot of other channels coming on with their lives at 7 o'clock Central Time now, and so I want to be able to let you all have those times with them and give that. So I'm going to get off, and you guys take care. We'll see you next Monday. I just hope you have an awesome week. I really appreciate y'all coming on, and We will see you guys all later. Bye-bye, everyone. Love and hugs to you too. Bye-bye.